Hello, brothers and sisters of the Briar, Professor Jeremiah. I'm in my workshop today because I have a couple of pipes which needed some attention. I recently acquired these as estate pipes. It's actually a design, I'm going to show you in a second, which I've really wanted to try out for a long time, but I've been kind of leery about it. And I didn't want to bite the bullet and pay some $250 or $300 for one of them. So I actually ran across these on eBay, and they were at a very decent price, but they need a little bit of work. So let me show you what they look like. I'm going to try to do this as a little bit of a process, so it may be over a period of a few filmings. We'll see. I'm just going to work on one of them primarily today, so if it ends up looking pretty decent, I may edit this and put it up for you to see at least that one in its works. All right, well, let's take a look at these pipes. So here they are. They're two of the Cork covered pipes by Tommaso Spanu. And as I say, I've wanted one of these for a long time. I just wasn't too sure what it was going to really be like. So the stems, I hadn't even stuck the stems in. They were shipped this way. And for the amount of use that this clearly got, I'm pretty impressed with how the outside of the bowl looks. And this is what I was concerned with. I don't know what kind of glue he used. I mean, clearly the cork's been stuck on the sides of it, so I didn't know what kind of glue used, whether it would hold up. I just don't know the longevity of this, but it looks incredible. And for that reason, I'd really wanted one. Let me show you. I don't know how well you can see, but there is so much cake down inside this bowl. It's one of those things. I don't know how or why old timers did this. There, you can see a good picture of it here. This little tamper I use here in the workshop. You see how much cake is in there? Let me stick the tamping end down. See, I can't even really go that far in there. I mean, it is a thick wall. Now, this is the shape in particular which I was most interested in, and it comes with this stem. And the fit, I hadn't put the stem on there yet. When I first got it and pulled it out of the bag, I was going to stick it on there, and it is a very tight fit. So we'll see what it's like. And, you know, that's something that some of you may not know of. Typically, when you ship a pipe to somebody, you should pull the stem and wrap it separately. But I've noticed recently a number of eBay sellers do not do that. I was very thankful that this gentleman did that. These two pipes were sold separately, but I won the bid back to back, and that actually made the shipping a lot more reasonable. So it was sort of one of those deals that I'd wanted one for a long time, wasn't willing to pay the price for a new one because I still was a little skeptical. And there's a part of me that still, like here you can see the overlap of the cork on here. And I just wasn't too sure in pictures whether that was going to bother me or not. And actually, it really doesn't. It's actually smoother. It's showing up, in all honesty, it's showing up more in the camera than it shows up in person. Here, maybe right there's the connection. But it is a really nice pattern. And I'll say, I must give it a little effort. Maybe some of the cork may have come off right there. Looks like that's a possibility. You know, for how you can see, and this one's the same deal with cake. I mean, man, they smoked the tar out of this. But we'll see how it cleans up. I'm not going to just try to completely do the top. I'll take as much down as I can, but I don't want to have to refinish the pipe. Now, I'm going to show you, and some of you may not like it. This is how I've done it. So, you know, thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever you think. This is how I've cleaned a number of bowls, mostly estates, because I've not had that issue with cake building up in my pipes. And I think a lot of times that's my theory. I may definitely be wrong in this. My theory is that oftentimes is heavy burley smokes or heavy Virginia smokes maybe that create as much of this carbon buildup, cake buildup. I only say that because I'm not a heavy burley smoker, nor Virginia. Virginia, I can handle Virginia when it's mixed in with other flakes. Burley, it needs to be really light. Otherwise, for me personally, just my taste, it kind of ruins it. I know others, that's what they're looking for, and it's just how you have different tastes. You know, some people might like Thai food, and others might only eat Mexican food. So, you know, it's just to each his own. But this one's a little worse for the wear around the top. This one may look worse, but I think it's going to clean up a lot better. And it's interesting, you know, sort of a Sherlock Holmes would probably say the guy was obviously left-handed or right-handed. I don't know, you know, going by what side the bowl's burned on. But I really like this shape the most. I guess, you know, a little apple tomato. I don't know what I guess an apple. I like it. It's kind of a neat. But I still have to say, I don't know if I would bite the bullet at the cost of a new one. Just because I'm still skeptical of the outside. You know, when I've got pipes that, one pipe in particular that I've had now almost 30 years, and it is a regular smoker. Anytime I am heading out of town for more than an hour's drive, it's a pipe that I smoke and have done so for 30 years nearly. It's kind of hard to spend the money on a pipe that is a little questionable as far as its longevity. Right now I'm just smoking some vanilla custard, and I don't know, I don't know if you'll be able to see a name on this or not. Just a kind of really just a basket pipe here. I just want to keep around the shop along with my cob, and somewhere my cob has disappeared. I don't know where it is. All right, well, I'm going to get started. Oh, I said I was going to show you what I'm using. Essentially, this is a over-the-top Dremel tool. Just one of these mounts here, flex shaft grinder. And I put just sandpaper on it. This is, of course, it's not any particular reason. It's just what was already on there. And once I get down to close to the base of it, I'll put on a finer grit sandpaper. I've done this even with meerschaums. I've taken a meerschaum that is loaded with carbon more than these two pipes and brought it all the way down to the meerschaum, and wow, I mean, I actually was surprised with how good it turned out. And I never really cut into the meerschaum, and so I don't really cut into the bowl itself, but I just knock that carbon down as much as I can. So let's see how this does, and I'll come back with you a little later. Well, here's how they ended up. They really cleaned up pretty good. I did take them down a little bit further than I initially thought I would in the bowls. It's not completely smooth. Wasn't necessarily aiming for that. I just wanted to get the carbon out and get them back to smokable condition. And I never saw any flaws in them. And I'm going to have to say, I don't know if the previous smoker had a softy bit on it or what, but there are no teeth marks on the stem. And it's quite likely that the seller did a little cleaning of the stem beforehand. I could have really polished the top of this and try to get this burned part off. I didn't want to mess it up. So I did polish it some. And the stem, I didn't polish at all. So what you're seeing is just how the stem cleaned up at the end for me. I'm very happy with it. I'm going to say this pipe had something interesting. Once I broke past the carbon towards the bottom of the bowl, it revealed a whole bunch of compacted, unburned leaf. Clearly, the previous smoker just never cleaned out his bowls. I mean, really interesting with that. I don't know what the rhyme or reason was, and that's why we need to show young men how to clean their pipes out. And I'm not saying that this is a young man. It might have been an old man, but nobody ever really showed him how to pack and clean a pipe at the end. But I'm real happy with these. I'm about to load this first one up here with the little vanilla custard. This is the one I always keep in the shop, but as many of you know, this is one of my all-time favorites. It's definitely in my top 5 of blends. And normally I do break most pipes in with the vanilla custard, and depending on how it smokes, I then determine from there what I'm going to smoke with it. I could put a honey bowl coating in. I do that a lot of times. I may do that with this one. This one, I think I'm just going to go ahead. I'm a little ready to smoke it. So, as I say, you do see where, but only in the camera, where these have been pieced together. You do not see that with the natural eye. So it's interesting sometimes how some things show up or stand out with the camera. You can kind of see there how this one is pieced. Still would love to know how he does that, but I'm thinking the way these were just smoked near to death, and for that bark to still be on there, that's a pretty good sign. Well, I'm just going to say it has an excellent draw to it. I'm only about 1.5 minutes into this smoke. Great draw to it. I probably have about 5 or so of the Tommaso Spanu pipes, and I've been very pleased with them. And that's a part of why when I saw these available at the price they were, or really bidding on them, I just had to jump on them. It came from England and was fast shipping too. I don't know how far I'll have to get into the smoke to see whether there's any ghosting or not. And for those of you who are unfamiliar with the term ghosting, basically it's where, you know, previous tobacco taste would come through in the briar. Who knows what they were smoking. Very pleasant, very pleasant. I'm happy with it so far. It's got a great draw on it. I like the feel. It's a big bowl. Both of these are big bowls. I will say that. Now I'll be curious to see how long of a smoke I get off of it. Now, the way I cleaned them up and stuff, I'm sure there is a better way. I'm sure there's other methods. This is just what I do because it's fast and it gets the results that I'm looking for. So maybe you might catch a little tip or two, or you might have your own way of doing it. That's fine. I used about 3 drums on this. And it's a good little setup. So, brothers and sisters, hope you have a blessed evening. Till next time, God bless.